the last thing that we are going to discuss in regards to our belly pooch is our posture through movement. So many of us can practice on the floor, getting our ribs set, right? And when we're sitting down, but once we get up, things start to change, especially once we start to move through different positions. So I want you, we're going to take a basic squat. And I encourage you to videotape yourself doing different movements so that you can see what your body does. Because a lot of times we think we know what is happening with our body, but then when we watch ourselves back or on in a mirror or something, it is not what we thought. So today we are going to go over a squat movement, and then I'm also going to have you do a plank, because those are the two positions I tend to see the most problems with, I guess is what you would say. So the first one is a squat. If you're standing here, just remember you want to continue to stack your your rib cage over your pelvis. So a lot of us, when we go down, you'll see this. So if you notice, I'm hyperextending my back. And what happens? Now I've got all this pressure pushing forward into my belly, diastasis recti area, split abs. So when we go down, sometimes we go a little bit too far and then extend. The other thing that I see a lot is the opposite, where you're quad dominant. So if you do a squat and you notice your quads are really on fire, they hurt when you do a squat, you're probably coming down and you probably have this posterior tilt and your quads are having to hold you up because your glutes are tucked under, so they're shortened. So if you think about the glute muscle, it's right now shortened, it's tucked under, and you're going here and your quads are having to really fire on for you. So pay attention to what you're doing. Notice the movement. I always like to have people try to sit down in a chair a little bit further than what is comfortable. So if you think, I'm going to try to sit down, so then I'm reaching my bottom back towards my chair. And when I do this, I'm also making sure that I don't fall here, because if I fall here, then I'm probably extending too much, lengthening here, arching that low back, paraspinals take over, core stops working. So you want to try to go here, getting the arms the upper body to stay up. You can even bring the arms, that's where I was going with this, get those arms up overhead and drop down. You probably see that I have to work hard to get myself to make my core work for me as I go down and up. So that is the first exercise that I wanted to show you. The second one is another one I see a lot of common problems with. So the second one has to do with our plank position. And this is one where the pelvis and the ribs, they just have a really hard time communicating to one another. Sorry. So when we are down in plank, whether you're on knees or your toes, obviously, if you are dealing with split abs, if at the very beginning of the week you felt and noticed you had diastasis recti, we're not going to practice this one yet. But you can pay attention, you can focus on this. If you are interested, I can give you a couple of exercises to do. We do have a 6-week program coming up soon, very soon, for you if you are interested in it, and that is going to be able to help you with your diastasis recti, providing you with exercises and things that you will be able to do. So continue to stay here. You might want to let me know that you're interested. Reach out to me, let me know you're interested so that I can make sure that you see it, because I know that sometimes we don't see everything that I post. So I want to make sure that you see it, so let me know. So you're not going to do this if you have split abs. But what we're going to do is we're going to come down onto the floor. You're on your knees and on your elbows, okay? And we're going to pay attention to our back, our flat back. So 2 things occur. And I'm going to go up onto my toes just so I can show you. 2 things usually occur. This is one of them. So people sink. Actually, there's quite a few things that occur. So I want you to look at a couple of things on me. I want you to look at my shoulders, right in between my shoulder blades. I want you to look at my low back. So this is one thing that occurs. So you will notice that I'm sinking into my shoulder blades. I'm not pushing up, and I'm also arching into my low back. So if you do a plank and you feel your low back is on fire, then my guess is you do it this way. What you need to focus on, you probably have more of an anterior pelvic tilt, and you need to focus on squeezing your glutes. So you need to focus on squeezing your glutes and pressing through those elbows away from the floor. So if I go down here and I'm in my plank position and I'm doing this and I'm falling, I'm going to squeeze my glutes up. But what I need to do, I'm not only going to squeeze my glutes, I'm going to try to tuck my tailbone under. I'm going to try to create this little pelvic tilt. That's probably a better way for me to explain it. So, because I'm like, I can squeeze doing this. I want to tuck my tailbone under. Think tailbone's pressing back towards my heels. And then I'm going to lift up through my shoulder blades. So that's option 1. The second one are those of you who have that posterior tilt or have this, remember I mentioned rib gripping? You grip down on your ribs. And this is one where I'm really good at doing it because this is what I like to do. So you grip down on your ribs. And if you look at my shoulders, see how they're rising up? And I'm really pressing here. If you do that, you probably almost always have a low belly pooch. You are gripping so hard with your upper, it could be external or internal obliques, but it's the upper abs. When you're gripping here, it's putting pressure down, and that's where that belly pooch comes from. So we've got to work on thinking about get into that position. You've got a great start because you're trying to create that flat back without the low back getting involved. But now you're going to think lengthen through the spine to kind of help get the rib cage back into neutral. So it looks like this. So I'm here, I'm gripping with my ribs. I'm going to think lengthen through the spine to go back into a neutral. So those are 2 things that I want you to try. I want you to squat and I want you to plank. And I encourage you, grab your phone. We all have phones. Videotape yourself and see what you look like and see if you can fix what you are looking like. If you have problems or questions, reach out to me. Let me know. I'm here to help. I do assessments for people. So I can watch a video of you doing a squat, or I can even look at your posture and give you recommendations on what to do. So if you're interested in that, let me know. I'm here to help. And I hope you all got some valuable information over these past 5 days. And if you have any questions, again, let me know. And I wish you all the best.